Hey guys, welcome to my channel. My name is Chi-Chi, and if you're new here, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe. So today I'm going to be making a video for those of you who are coming to Israel as students, because I didn't also have like this information. What should I pack? What do I expect? What's the weather like? So I'm going to be answering some of those questions for you. So sit down, relax, and let's get into it. So we're going to be talking about what you need to pack. And I packed a lot of spices. This place does have like spices available, but they don't have the spices that I have in my country. So like Maggi cubes and whatnot. I'll show you my shelf in another video, but it's really disorganized right now. But I packed a lot of spices, like soup spices, cup of soup, I also carried some instant noodles because I didn't know when I would buy the food like that I needed to cook. So I carried noodles for like my first night. And yeah, it kind of helped. Also, if you have different type of hair, maybe it's coily or kinky or curly, carry your products with you because you may find them here, but they're gonna be really expensive compared to like what you know. For me, I realized like even hair, braiding hair, I do braid my hair. I am an African baby. Yeah, so I know that it's really expensive here compared to what I would buy. You're kind of like buying triple the price of hair that I would buy in my country. So in terms of like weather, I had basically two big coats. I think you can even survive with one, but then I also had hoodies. So the weather, it gets cold, but it's not as cold, like snowy kind of cold and whatnot. So you just need maybe two coats, and then you can bring hoodies because you can either wear the hoodie and something inside. And then if it gets colder, you can have the coat, wear your hoodie, and you're really fine. I survived on two coats, which is okay. Yeah, and also I forgot to mention the weather. And there are two distinct seasons: cool rainy, which is October to April, and dry summer, which is May to September. Let me just tell you, I am also lost on this, but I know that there's a short period when it's really cold during that same cool rainy, and then there's rain. There's just rain that comes pouring for a really long time. And even sometimes now we're in like summer-ish, it's getting hotter, but there are points when it's still rained. So just be prepared for rain. When you come, buy an umbrella. If you come while it's still hot like now, if you buy an umbrella, it's probably cheaper, just so you know. Or you can pack an umbrella in your suitcase so that you know. I think that's the only thing that I forgot to mention. So if you're into hiking, you can also bring hiking shoes. I do recommend still bringing a pair because you will want to explore. And I'm in Haifa. I'm on the mountain. So at some point I wanted to explore. And your regular shoes, they'll be okay, but sometimes you will be sliding down. So if you can get a pair of hiking shoes, that's fine. You can also find them here and buy a pair. So there are two more things that I forgot to mention, and that's if you love camping, you can also come with a sleeping bag or your camping bag. I don't know if you can fit a tent in your suitcase, I don't know, but there are options, like you can buy it here as well. Just so you know, there is a Decathlon, which is generally fair price. Like it's really, I think it's a good place for students. You can bring your swimsuit if you want to be like going to the Dead Sea, if your school has a swimming pool and whatnot. Or if you want to go to the Mediterranean Sea, some people do swim by the sea, so you can bring a swimsuit. Sunscreen, you can buy these things here, but I just wanted to be ready. But then you should know that some airlines do not want you to carry like something in like a spray can, so you can bring like actual cream so that at least you have something. If you do go to the gym, you can buy some of your outfits because the price is good, but then so like if you have many outfits at home, like you're not spending anything, so you can get them. But then when you're here, if you're a student, you can't always buy many outfits, gym outfits. So bring some, and then if you like something, you can buy it because as a student, you're on a budget. So if you like your gym outfits, bring them, and you can pack that as well. So I brought beddings also. I brought spices, I brought my beddings, I brought soap, I bought groceries because like I was just ready to come and start. I didn't want to start stressing over everything else. The airlines that I came gave me 3 bags of luggage to carry, so it also depends on the amount of luggage that you have. So you do have to adjust. So my school gave me they gave me a towel, a pillow, and everything, so I didn't really need to do that. But I know that I can't survive on only one pair of beddings, so I did come with some bed sheets and a pillowcase. And the beddings that they gave me did look a bit used, so I don't know, but that's So I brought my own beddings. I brought groceries, but you don't have to. I just didn't want to spend so much at that time. Like, I brought dry kind of groceries. Like, I brought noodles. I brought soup, cup of soup, like powdered things that I can put at that time. But you don't need to do that. You find food here. You find everything. I was being extra, and I didn't want to spend a lot in my first month. So it's cheaper in my country to buy all those things than to come here and spend. But if your country is if you're coming from the US, I think the currency is almost similar. So you can kind of like think of that. For me, I don't live in the US. The US currency is high for me. So in terms of like for your lectures, if you're going to be studying here, you need, okay, if you're okay with starting your book from the other side, then that's fine. You don't need to buy books. You come and buy them here. But I found that I was not comfortable. Like, I'm still not comfortable starting my book from the end, or you can try and actually start it from the end, but then it looks like it's the back. It's getting used to something else that you're not used to. So I brought my own books after I went back home for the holiday because I didn't bring that. I didn't think of that. But yeah, you can bring some of the books that you want if you will be writing. I know a lot of people take notes on the laptop, so you don't need to like buy books if you're not going to use it. And you can still find notebooks that open the other way, so you're still good. I brought a calculator because I'm doing an MPH program which has one course or two that are like statistics that need math, so you can bring your calculator. I don't know where to buy a calculator to this day in Israel. I tried to look, so I don't know. I brought my calculator, so it's fine. You don't need to buy stationery, anything else other than what I've mentioned. You don't need to buy them. You can find them. But if you just want to be like me, I came with pens. I came ready because I did not want to start looking for anything else. I just wanted to start my school day as that student who has everything in hand. So far in terms of packing, also I don't think you need to pack like high-heeled shoes if you're a lady and everything, because at the end of the day you find that you don't use them as much. So you can pack sandals, you can pack pumps, you can pack sneakers. It's really fine. But like shoes for events, unless you're gonna be planning on going for events, like you have friends and everything that want to go to fancy dinners and whatnot, but a lot of us don't really do that. I didn't need to bring that, unless maybe for your graduation at some point you will buy a pair or something, but it's not really necessary. So yeah, that's what you can pack in your suitcase. You can pack regular clothes. It depends on your amount of clothing. If you plan on also buying clothes here, you don't need to pack a lot. That's really fine. As I said, the currency, you should do a currency conversion before you come to understand the prices. For me, it is more expensive here, but for you, it couldn't be, so you never know. But just pack what you need, and then if there's anything else that you want, you can buy that. Pack your needs first. So the next thing is, how do you move around Israel? So there are buses, there are trains, there are cable cars, there is light rail, and I think some places have a subway, an underground train, but I'm not really sure. I can only speak mostly for where I am in Haifa. So for the buses, if you're coming immediately, you have the option of taking a bus, taking a taxi, taking shared transport. So like usually your cohort will arrange a WhatsApp group for you where you communicate with other people, so you can decide what days you're coming together and you can share a car together. But the most expensive one is a taxi, which I ended up taking when I came because I had so much luggage. I had 3 suitcases and I was alone, so I can't carry all that to a train. And I paid around 600 shekel, which is really a lot. Now that I'm here, I paid a lot for a taxi. That's a lot. So really, I wouldn't recommend getting a taxi unless you just wanted to get a taxi. It's a lot, it's expensive. But if you can get it. Like if you're like me who had many things, I don't regret getting a taxi. I'm just now realizing how much money that was for a taxi. So you can also get a bus, and a bus does take a little bit of time, but there is an app called Move It, which I recommend you can download and then connect your card to it, so that when you come, you just scan it and pay for your bus. You have no hustle. You can carry 2 suitcases. There's always a space in the bus where you can put something. It's either for people with babies or like rocking things if you're injured and whatnot. So you can take a bus. You can take a train. I think the train is the fastest way, and it's also not very expensive. I think you pay like 18 shekel, maximum maybe 22 if you haven't yet registered as a student on the app. So I recommend, even Move It does that. But then there's also Israel Rail, which is another app that's for trains, which you can download. I usually use that not for paying for the train, but just to check which trains are coming so that you know. Sometimes they do say it in English, but it's easier to have like what train is coming so that you don't miss your train. So recommend you get that app. When you're around, you also need to move. I know there's some times when you just have to take a taxi, so I recommend getting the Gate app. It's GETT double T. Also, there is Yango, but Yango, I tried to use it. Some taxis would never come, so at least get the Gate app. You have to connect it to your card and also pay through that, or you can pay with your card in the taxis. Some taxis actually pay with your cards. Another app is the Waze app. Waze app is for navigation, and also it shows you the traffic around you so that you know which area you're going to be taking. And the airport is in Tel Aviv, so if you have Waze, you can also decide whether are you going to go with like a bus, a taxi, it'll show you the traffic, or you're going to take a train, which is like the fastest way. There's never traffic on a train. So what is the cost of living as a student? I was recommended $500 to $700 per month. It could be less, so I feel like the first month that you come, you will need maybe at least, you will need more than usual, and then you'll see that in the second, third month, you come back as to a normal, and then you'll see what the balance is. So recommending a specific amount is kind of hard because I don't know how you will be spending your money and everything. But for me, I'm in the 700 range, but there are people who also use like 500 and everything, and they have enough. And for me, even with that amount, I do have money left over that makes me do other things or save that money. So I would say like if you just want it for like groceries, living, no leftovers, I'd say like maybe 500-600, about that. But 500 to 800 is like where I am. But if you can have more, that would be amazing. That would be fine. But I'm just kind of giving you that range so that you know where to start with. And the first month is always going to be an expensive month because you're living here for the first time. So just do note that the first month you will spend more than you need because you're buying things for the first time. You might even have to buy like products for your bathroom, cleaning supplies and everything like that. So you spend more the first few months. The next one is accommodation. The first option that I do recommend to people is starting out in the dorm because it's probably the cheapest that you'll be working with. And then if you like your dorm, you decide whether you want to stay or not. But then also you can decide whether you want to stay or to rent. And it also gives you enough time to look for places. If you pay for like the first month, you look for places that you will like. You have time to like evaluate the situation and you move out. So the dorm is also a good place to like find your friends first, actually, because a lot of people when they move out, they don't socialize with people in the dorms, and you find majority of your friends will be in the dorms. So it's kind of like hard to find that connection with time. It's the best starting point. That's what I would recommend. But if you just want to come rent, there are Facebook groups that I will link in the description box below where people like try to find places to rent and everything. But it depends on your city. The one that I will be putting is for people who are coming to Haifa, where I am. But you can check on Facebook apartments for rent in Jerusalem, apartments for rent in Tel Aviv, or something like that. Okay, the next one is coming to Israel as a person of color, which I'm sure it is a concern for some of you who are of color, of course. Israel is very friendly. Honestly, I felt welcome all the time, especially in Tel Aviv. If you're living in Tel Aviv, you'll be very fortunate. People are so friendly there. I didn't even think I was in Israel. Honestly, I forgot that I'm in Israel. I just thought I'm everywhere where everybody is. Everybody is so friendly. There's so many communities there. There's Asian communities, African communities, African American, different people from all over the world. There are people from Europe and everything. It just feels like a hub for everybody. And people are so friendly. You find that I'm just walking there with my mission. Let me just go this side. Someone will stop you and say, hi, how are you? How are you enjoying Israel and everything? And I was just like, man, I need to change my personality. So if you're in Tel Aviv, you're going to enjoy yourself. I haven't experienced any form of racism or anything. So that's the truth. If you're going to other places, like for me in Haifa, it's kind of different. You have to decide whether you're going to be the friendly one or not. People are just minding their own business. You're there. They're friendly, yes, but like you have to engage, or they'll engage with you. If you want to engage with people, that's fine. And another thing, if you're coming to the University of Haifa, just so that I prepare you, if you have a cat allergy, come with your medication because there's so many cats at this university and in general. So just BT dubs. If you have a cat allergy, just know that. Now that I'm speaking to people who are of color, of different ethnicities, bring your hair products, because at the end of the day, you won't find them, or you'll find them very expensive. I think I mentioned this earlier. If you are guys who are of like different hairstyles and everything, like different hair, like maybe you're like me, of color, and you want to find like a barber shop, I think maybe in Tel Aviv, the city, you'll find a lot of places. But like if you're in another city that's kind of like not very popular, you might not find that. So I recommend come with your clippers and everything, so that you're not left out. You can find somebody in the dorms to kind of help you out, or you can be doing it yourself. So if you're about to start, I recommend learning how to cut your own hair, because you may need to. Another benefit is if you actually do know how to do hair, like cutting hair for guys or braiding hair, you can use that to your benefit, because a lot of people do make money from that. So I mean, but I didn't tell you this because you're not supposed to work in Israel as a student. So next, is Israel a safe place? Because I remember when my dad was telling people that his daughter is in Israel, they asked if I'm a soldier, because people have this concept that everything that happens in Israel is war related and everything. But Israel is really safe. It's a really safe country. Of course, it does have, like, I wouldn't want to say enemy states, but there are conflicts and everything. So occasionally they'll tell you like, oh, there's this happening, so stay safe and everything. But at the end of the day, everywhere where you're entering, there are security people. There are also some people who are doing military. Like, it's a mandatory thing for people after their high school, before they start going to university, to do military service. So you'll see some students in their uniform carrying weapons also. So just don't be alarmed by that. And also when you enter public buildings such as malls or anything else, there are people at the security check. They just want you to open your bag and see what's going on, like what do you have inside. So kind of be prepared for that. But generally everything is safe. I haven't experienced anything like that. I have been told that I am in the safest place in Israel, like Haifa. Nothing much really happens here, but just so you know, be prepared that, okay, this is kind of strange if you see people like walking around with like a weapon, a gun and whatnot, because also in some buses you'll find somebody just tucked in their gun there. So just be aware of that. But otherwise, generally it's safe. Like, honestly, I'm probably just like being as open as everything. There are times when something will happen in Jerusalem, because I think it's also where the border is. But generally your university will keep you safe. That's why I recommend kind of staying in the dorms for a while, so that you get to assess the situation, and then you'll be fine. But honestly, it's a very safe place, very lovely. It's a combination of different people. There's Jewish people, there's Arab people, there's Christian people, there's others like the Baha'i people. So I wouldn't recommend, it's very diverse. It's very diverse. I wouldn't just say that there's just one type of people. It's very diverse, very open. So just be aware of that. So in terms of grocery shopping, that's if you're not coming with everything, don't worry. There are grocery stores here. And I recommend starting out like with this chain store called Rami Levy. It's a good store. It's a chain store, and it's said to be like one of the cheaper chain stores. And then there's another store that I think is mainly in the Arab communities. It's called King Store, and it's also a cheaper store. So I would recommend trying to find those first, and then eventually find out what's in your area, and then they will probably be cheaper as well. But those are the chain stores that I go to shop right now still, even after 8 months and everything. So just so you know. There's also a place called Osher Ad, and I think it is kosher. So I've never been there, but some of my friends do go there. So just in case, you should also know that. But I don't know the price range, so I'll ask somebody, and then I'll kind of like update the video or put it down in the comment section down below. There are Russian markets here in Israel where they do sell pork. In Tel Aviv, there are Asian places, like Asian designated area or stores where they have like pork and everything. So in case you wanted to know, you can still find pork. And there are a lot of like shuks, which are just markets, open markets, where they sell different vegetables, fruits and everything. So you'll find those as well. And if you have any dietary requirements, here there are a lot of like vegetarians, people who follow the Mediterranean diet. What else? Also people who are vegan. So there are a lot of stores that are open to that. So keep it in mind. If you're doing keto like me, there are places where you can find some stuff, but not many. Maybe like places where they sell like chicken and everything, and then you can ask them to kind of like adjust, but it's not that friendly as compared to others. But you can find like keto products and everything around the area if you really just search. So yeah, Shabbat. How do I explain Shabbat? Shabbat, okay. Shabbat starts on a Friday and ends on a Saturday night, Saturday evening. It starts Friday from sunset till Saturday sunset as well, but some places will start work on a Sunday. When Shabbat starts, so like around 16, which is 4, you find that that's the time when some of the last buses are there, so you can do like whatever you needed to do before 4 if you're trying to use public transportation, because public transportation will be closed. Like buses will stop, trains will stop, cable cars will stop, everything will stop. Jewish owned stores will stop, which is basically everything. But be aware that places in the Arab community will be open. So the main problem is like transport. If you have like a way to get transport from your school to those areas, everything else is still open. And Tel Aviv is alive even on Shabbat. Like, so if you're in Tel Aviv, you're lucky. Stuffs will be open. There are some buses that work even on Shabbat. So Tel Aviv, I think you know, I love Tel Aviv. So you'll be fortunate if you live in Tel Aviv. There are more options. But if you're not in Tel Aviv, you gotta stay home on Shabbat. Or if you have a way of transport, like if maybe you're renting a car, if you have like a if you have a bike, then you're fine. But you can trek too. Like if the place where you are is not far from an Arab area or whatnot, you can trek. Mine is far, so I don't do much on Shabbat. I just walk down to maybe one of our local ice cream stores. It is open, so maybe on Shabbat I'll go there and come back. But I think that's basic information that you may have. If you have more questions, let me know in the comment section down below. I'll try to answer those as soon as possible. But this is the end of the video. I hope you enjoyed it. I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye.